The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The return of Joe B. Today we'll talk all things Jets, all things Knicks, New York baseball with the great Joe Benigno. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
I got just the guy to get us going tonight.
Each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Tuesday. Welcome in, everybody. Click the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And let's say hello right now for the first time since we've had a Jets draft, for the first time since we've had a schedule release, and for the first time since we found out the Knicks will be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. The great Joe B. Joe Benigno joins the show. Joe, how we feeling, my friend?
I've been better on some levels, but I'm doing all right. And never use the word great, bro, when you're describing me. Greatness never quite touched me over the years. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a lot of people out there who would vehemently disagree, but you're a humble guy, and that's fine. You want to start with the positive that is the Knicks, or the gloom of the Jets?
Whatever you want to do.
We'll get the Jets out of the way because obviously when you would come on each and every Monday this past year, we thought we were going to be talking about a great year. We all know what happened, an unmitigated disaster, nightmare. Now looking back and kind of where we are right now, draft in the books, schedule's out. How are you feeling about this team? I know you were down on them throughout the offseason. Is there any more optimism, or are you in the same place?
Well, as I told you off the air here, the best thing about the upcoming year is that 14 of the 17 games are at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. Thank God for that. Instead of the usual, 5, 6, 7, 8 night games. And one of the other games is 9:30 in the morning from London against Denver. So that's the best part. I'm still not thrilled with the situation. I would have wanted to have Rodgers back. And how about the league doing it again? Because, they're figuring Rodgers will eventually sign with Pittsburgh, which will make sure that he opens the season against the Jets at MetLife, which, of course, why wouldn't that happen? But I don't have any confidence at all, bro. I mean, I wasn't thrilled with the draft. You're telling me that they couldn't have taken a quarterback? They couldn't have taken a flyer on Shadir Sanders in the 4th or 5th round? I mean, but whatever. He'll be a star in Cleveland. You watch. Anyway, be that as it may. Look, they got 3 number 1 picks in the offensive line. They got a quarterback that's basically a runner. So maybe what we're going to do is actually run the wishbone, maybe. Maybe we'll do that, or maybe we'll run the Wildcat as our primary offense. To me, it's all about Aaron Glenn. If Aaron Glenn is as good a coach as he was a player, we got something. But I got no confidence, bro. Why should I? I have no reason to be confident at all about the Jets. None.
When you think about just the draft in general, I mean, the 5 guys they now have with this offensive line, that's got to be at least on paper going in, the best O-line they've had since the last time this team was any good with Rex. Do you have confidence they're going to be able to ground and pound and actually have a functioning offense by running the football?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they going to stay healthy? I mean, Fastenal got hurt at the end of last year. Vera Tucker is hurt seemingly every year. We'll see about this kid. How do you say the kid's name from the offensive lineman?
Armand
Membu. We'll see what he turns out to be. You got Tipman's a 2nd-round pick. The other guy, Simpson. We'll see. Bro, like I said, I have no confidence. They're in love with Justin Fields. We'll see. I'll say this. He's only 26, so I guess there's an upside for him. Look at this. Look. There they are, the offensive line. They look like the Hogs. Maybe they're like the Great Wall of Dallas. You never
ground and pound. I mean, it's
Oh
gonna.
my God! We can only pray, bro. Like I said, here's the deal. There's only one way for the Jets to go, and that's up. The over/under is 5.5. I would never bet the under because I could never root against my team. But again, my confidence level. My message to Aaron Glenn and Mr. Laughs, Darren Muhi. Doesn't he remind you of Idzik, that guy?
Muji? You calling
Yeah.
him Muji? I like
Yeah,
it.
whatever his name is, Mr. Laughs. He's always smiling because he hasn't lost a game yet. My message to them is rent, don't buy. Because you probably won't be around too long. So we'll see what happens.
Fair. I guess the one positive, because there's some people that think this team is going to be, nationally, the Jets are being, mocked number one in the draft. And I don't think they're going to be that bad. I don't necessarily think they're a playoff team, but I can't think of too many like god awful football teams that had good offensive line. So at the bare minimum, like if they're well coached, this team should at least be in games and not be picking in the top 3 in the draft next year. I don't think they're going to be that bad.
Well, look, I don't know what they are. Like I said, history tells me, again, I always say this, expect the worst. You're never disappointed, Jake. I mean, that's it. So until I see these guys out there and start to win games, I'm going to be skeptical, and there's no reason I shouldn't be.
Are you happy that they didn't trade Breece Hall? There were some rumors about that. Are you happy that they're seemingly going to work on getting a contract done with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, hopefully before the season starts?
Well, look, I mean, I want Garrett Wilson on the team. I want Hall on the team. I don't love Gardner. I think he's vastly overrated. Maybe Aaron Glenn could straighten him out. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, Mel Blount, he's not. Let's put it that way. maybe he could become that, but right now, I'm not thrilled with Sauce Gardner. We'll leave it at that.
I have something about Sauce that you might like, knowing what I know about you, Joe. So yesterday, Woody's son, Brick, posted a photo of him playing golf with Sauce Gardner, and they were playing at one of Trump's golf courses in Bedminster.
Well, that's a good thing.
I knew you'd like
that. I mean, that's good. I'm glad Sauce plays golf. I hope he plays golf better than he intercepts passes.
That's right. And that to me is a major thing. Did you like the pick of Mason Taylor in the second round? We know about his dad, Jason.
Yeah.
We played for the Jets for a year, and of course, a big rival when he was with the Dolphins. But he figures to be probably the starting tight end right away. Did you like that pick in the second round?
Well, he better be. I mean, he better be. He's a second round pick. I like the bloodlines with his father. I do like that, even though I had never had any love for Jason Taylor. He did play for us on the last playoff team we had, as a matter of fact. But we'll see. I just can't wrap myself around anything but negativity with this franchise until I see something different. We'll leave it at that.
It just feels like, and I've heard this from a lot of people. I have a lot of people that have called into the show or wrote in the comments that they didn't renew their tickets. It feels like, even though it's a new regime and that typically does bring in some optimism from a fan base, because of how the last couple of years have gone and just how bad they have been, it feels like there's a lot of Jet fans that are damaged based on what's happened, and that renewed hope has come nowhere near to what I think a lot of people in that building probably thought they were going to get.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, why should they? There's no reason to. And the way they just so unceremoniously dispatched Aaron Rodgers, I had a big problem with that. I mean, they didn't even, why did you? And I don't know who knows who to believe, but why did you have this guy fly cross country just to tell him to get lost? I mean, that made no sense to me at all. So I got a lot of negativity, bro, about this franchise right now. I can't. I've been burned too long. It's I haven't won a Super Bowl in 56 years. Even been to one. So and we all know about how long it's been for the playoffs. How many years they've lost 10 straight, 10 or more games. So, like I said, I got to see it, and until I do, why would I have any confidence whatsoever?
Speaking of confidence, does the Knicks run give you any confidence that the Jets can eventually figure things out? It's not like Dolan sold the team. People want Woody to sell the team. That's not happening. Have the Knicks brought you any hope for the Jets?
Well, no, I can't say they have. I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, Dolan finally got lucky. He hired the right guy in Leon Rose. They brought in the right guy in Thibodeau, and things have turned around. They've turned around dramatically after. It's funny that for 20 years, basically, the Knicks were like, the worst franchise in sports. And isn't it amazing that it transferred very, very seamlessly to the Jets. Like only the teams I root for can be looked at as the worst in their sport. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. To me, again, you got to have a little luck with stuff like that. And I think Dolan got lucky. And we could only hope that Woody Johnson got lucky here with Mr. Laughs and with Aaron Glenn. We'll see.
Well, the one thing that has been clear with how the Jets structure is now set up, that this is the Aaron Glenn show, that while Muji is the GM, if there's ever like a face-off the tiebreaker goes to, they're going to do whatever Aaron Glenn wants. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. We've seen it work with like Kyle Shanahan, who had never been a head coach before, and he has all this power in San Fran. But you're seeing a guy who's never been a head coach also have like full autonomy over the roster as the GM. That's a lot of power and a lot of faith they're putting in Aaron Glenn, who we don't know what he is yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, he's never been a head coach. I mean, look, the only reason that there was even any, okay, it's all right, is because it was Aaron Glenn, who was a former Jet and a very good player for the Jets, but nobody wanted a first-time head coach again. So we'll see. I mean, it is what it is. It's all about him. I mean, to me, it's all about Aaron Glenn. That's it. If he's the real deal, we'll be good. If he's not, then it's the same old, and we'll be bringing in a new regime in 3 years.
We're talking with Joe Benigno, who joined us every week during the miserable Jet season. Had to get Joe on to talk about the latest with the Jets, and of course, we'll get to the Knicks with him as well. Mike writes in, these couple of years have changed Joe. Hard to see Joe this down.
Yeah. Well, it's not these couple of years. It's like the last, basically 5.5 decades. That you get to a point where you just beat down. You're so tired of it, and we're in a period right now that, I thought we could never have a worse period than we had in the 70s with the Jets. Well, now we do. This has been the worst run, since they made the playoffs in 2010. This has been the worst run of Jet football ever. I mean, let's be honest about it. Revolving door of coaches, never still having a real quarterback when all was said and done. And we had one last year. They couldn't wait to get him out the door. What can I say? Whatever can go wrong will, the injury to Testaverde, the injury to Rodgers. I mean, it's the same old song and dance. It really is.
I know there's at least one Jet thing that you're happy about. And look, I think the number selection here is gross, but you never liked Will McDonald wearing Gaston.
Yeah, I know. I'm very happy to see that.
He's wearing number 9 now, though. It's such a gross. Right. It's like a kicker number for a pass rusher. I hate the single digit stuff that the NFL now now allows.
Look, I'm glad that he's not wearing Gastineau's number anymore. So that's a good thing. And maybe they'll retire Gastineau's number as they should. Maybe.
How about the fact that Malachi Corley is now going to wear number 6, which means he's had 3 career catches, Joe, and he's had now 3 numbers in the NFL.
Malachi Corley, he'll be gone soon. We'll leave it at that. That number 6 will be available very soon.
This is the state of the Jet fan right now. This super chat is from Doug. He says, if we get the number 1 pick next year, who's the quarterback you want? Have you thought about the quarterbacks in 2026?
No, I haven't thought about it. I know everybody loves Arch Manning. I mean, from what I've seen at Texas so far, the only time I ever see him play is when they bring him in to run the ball. So, I don't know. Let me see the college football this year before I start, thinking about who we could draft.
Dan writes, Joe, the Mets play in Miami last day of the regular season and the day before the Jets Monday Night Football game in Miami against the Dolphins. Can we expect to see you there?
Probably not. I mean,
you do love Florida, though. That is your place.
I love Florida. Right now the thought of flying is forget it. I mean, the disaster that Newark Airport is right now. Why would I ever? Where am I going? You know what I'm saying? I have no desire to get on a plane for many, many different reasons. Probably not. I'll watch it on TV. As a matter of fact, that Monday night game is actually early. I guess they must have a doubleheader that night, right?
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good thing that it's 7:15. I like that.
Let's talk about the Knicks, Joe. There's positivity. I was listening to your podcast of you talking about the ass whooping that the Knicks gave Boston in great. Game 6. Just an incredible.
No team that you'd rather see get it stuck up their rear end than the Celtics. And their entitled fan base up there. Please give me a break. And how sweet was that? Kicking the crap out of them. Oh man, that was phenomenal.
Incredible.
38 point. I mean, I still can't believe that as I'm watching this game, that I knew this game was over at halftime. I'm sitting there saying, this is it. The Celtics are cooked. You could see the Celtics basically mailed it in by halftime. They couldn't make a shot. The Knicks were just kicking the crap out of them. Everybody was playing well for the Knicks. You were getting contributions of, Deuce McBride and Mitch Robinson, were playing great. It was wonderful. Hating the Celtics as much as I do growing up and, having to endure the Russell years, Dave Cowens and JoJo White and Paul Silas and Hondo and all these guys and Bird and McHale and Parrish and all of that. And let me say this too. I know the Celtics won the championship last year. Any of those Celtic championship teams, the Russell years, Cowens and Hondo, Bird and McHale and company would have wiped the floor with this Celtic team. This is probably the most overrated championship team I've ever seen. All they want to do is stand out there and chuck up threes, right? That's really all they want to do. Jason Tatum's a terrific player, but that's all he wants to do is sit back and chuck up threes. Extremely, extremely overrated. And it was just wonderful kicking their ass. I can tell you that.
Other than obviously the championships and some of the great wins in those finals and whatnot, where does that whooping rank as far as the most satisfying wins you've seen, one of these Knicks teams you've rooted for since the beginning have?
Yeah, well, take away the two championship years, 70 and 73. To me, the most satisfying Knicks playoff series win ever was 1973 when they beat the Celtics. That was a Celtic team that won 68 games, which, by the way, is still the most that any Celtic team has ever won in a regular season. They won 68 games that year, and the Knicks won Game 7 after blowing a 3-1 series lead, came back to win Game 7, becoming the first opponent ever to win a seventh game in Boston Garden. And I could still see Clyde walking off the court with the number one and all of that. That was the most satisfying playoff win. I would say what happened last Friday was second. That was the second most satisfying. Beating the crap out of the Celtics was, above and beyond. Above and beyond. It really was. And beating them by 30. Like I'm basically singing, I was singing David Bowie songs, with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, what's going on here?
It's shocking.
Yeah.
And Joe, I wasn't surprised that they won because I thought the Knicks were going to win. But
right.
It didn't feel real that they were just going to win and it was never going to get close at any point. Like at one point, 5 minutes to go, second quarter, they're up 20. It's 47-27. And I check the box score and I see, well, Brunson only has 4 points. How is this possible? And then he scores like 8 before halftime. They end up leading by 27. And you're thinking there's got to be at least some sort of like fake run to make you feel like maybe they cut it to 15 or something. No, they blew them out in the third. Brown fouls out. And I mean, it was over before then, but then you knew it was actually over. This fourth quarter is going to be a total party the rest of the way.
And that's what it was, You could see earlier the Celtics had checked out. Let's be honest. They couldn't make threes. When his team is missing 3-point shots, okay? And we saw this. Go back to game 1 when they went 15 for 60 or whatever they were from 3-point land. And I think they were 10 for 40 in game 2. Even though they were close games and the Knicks were behind 20 and came back to win. You could see early on in game 6 when they were missing 3 after 3, and when Derek White, who couldn't miss in game 5, he's missing threes, and Jaylen Brown's missing threes, and that guy I can't stand, Pritchard, whatever the hell his name is, I can't stand him, and they're all missing threes. You could see that the Celtics had checked out. They were done. You could see that early on. You really could.
You brought up Clyde. I want to share with the listeners that this week on the show, we're giving away a signed Walt Clyde Frazier jersey. Wow. If you get the membership. So I want to give some credit to Paul, who gifted 5 memberships. That's 5 raffle entries. And Joe, since we are a Jet show after all, I figured if we're going to give away something with Walt Clyde Frazier, we got to do Broadway Joe, because the last time the Knicks were winning, the Jets were led by Joe Namath, and they were Super Bowl champs. That first title the Knicks won, of course. So those are the top 2 prizes for our weekly raffle.
Well, that's pretty good. Those are 2 of my all-time guys. I got 4 guys growing up that were my guys. Namath, Clyde, Tom Seaver, and Muhammad Ali. These are my guys growing up. So, that's pretty good, bro. Pretty good.
Now, let me ask you this, because you go back since, the beginning of
I go back to the beginning of time. I mean, yeah, all you need to know is I started watching sports in 1960. That's all you need to know. So,
well, you're the right guy to ask this question to because it's been spoken about a lot. Where does Jalen Brunson already rank among the greatest Knicks players ever?
well, let's put it this way: he's not Clyde, he's not Willis, he's not Patrick Ewing at this point yet. He's got a ways to go. I'd say this about Brunson: he's probably halfway to the ceiling. He's halfway to his number being retired. I would put it that way. You know what I mean? I think he's better than Carmelo. I think he's close to the same level as Bernard King. Bernard King was, just unbelievable. It wasn't here long enough, but he's on his way. He's on his way to, being one of the great Knicks of all time. And if he ever wins a championship, well, forget it. That just cements it. But he's about halfway to the ceiling, Jalen Brunson. That's how I would put it.
It's just amazing that after all these years of this franchise trying to find that superstar, the guy who ends up being the player that this fan base has been starving for is a second-round pick who's 6'1" barely, and his dad is an assistant coach on the team. It's just it's an amazing
Nobody saw
story.
it coming. I mean, let's be honest. When they signed Brunson, it was like, okay, he's a nice player, and I know he had a very good playoff run there with Dallas the year before they signed him. But you look at him, you're like, Brunson, he's a nice player. I mean, I liked him at Villanova. He's a winning player. I mean, that's kind of how I looked at him. But obviously, he has gone above and beyond. He might be next to Reggie Jackson, because I think when you look back in the history of New York sports, the greatest free agent signing has to be Reggie. I mean, it has to be him. 2 championships with the Yankees, 5 really, really, really good years. Went to 3 World Series, all of that. He was the straw that stirred the drink. There's no doubt. But I think you can make the case that Jalen Brunson might be the second greatest free agent signing in the history of New York sports. I think he's already moved into that area.
You can make a case he's number one if they win a championship, right? Given the history.
Well, you can't put him ahead of. It's hard to put him ahead of Reggie. It really is.
But Reggie's a baseball player in such a team-oriented sport. Like the superstar in basketball has so much more of an impact on whether or not you can win or not.
Well, but does he really? I mean, the Yankees were a nice team, and they went to the World Series the year before, and Thurman Munson was great, and they got their ass handed to them.
What were the Knicks before Brunson? Yeah, I think I saw the stat. You'll love this. So before Jalen Brunson, over the last 20 years, the Knicks had 8 total playoff wins. They've had 23 of the last 3 alone.
Yeah, no, hey, Brunson's great. I'm not saying he's not, but like I said, I mean, win a championship. Is he better than Carmelo? Yeah. Is he kind of on the level of Bernard? Maybe not quite him yet, but he's close. Yeah. Is he Ewing? I can't say he's Ewing yet. He's not Reed or Frazier. You want to put him ahead of the other guys that play the championship team, even a guy like Earl Monroe? Okay, I mean, I'll give you that. But, he's moving up the ladder, that's for sure.
Now, as far as this series with the Pacers go, I want to get your thoughts on that. But you go back a long time with this Knicks team, of course. What are the memories you have of all those playoff battles with Reggie Miller and the Pacers?
Yep. Well, look, I mean, there was some unbelievable battles. I mean, I could still see me now in 94, Game 7. Let's even go back before that. When they lost Game 5, the game where Reggie went for 39 and, Spike's over there with the choke sign and all of that. And then they go into Indiana. They win Game 6. And then just a classic Game 7. I mean, I think I could remember me under the bed somewhere watching that game. I could still see that missed shot by Starks going to the basket and Ewing with that offensive rebound slam putback, which is kind of the signature moment of that game. Ewing went for 24 and 22 rebounds, probably the best game of his career when you consider the importance of that basketball game. That's probably his signature game. Unfortunately, they lose in the finals to Houston. But then the next year when they lose, Game 1, I was at Game 1, up 7 points with 18 seconds to go, and watching them blow that game. Reggie hitting those 2 threes. He actually knocked Greg Anthony to the floor on one of them. The Knicks missed a bunch of free throws. The Game 7 is the finger roll that Ewing misses. Pat Riley leaves the team and all of that. And then beating them in 99. I was at the Larry Johnson 4-point play game.
That was the day of Jerry Recco's wedding, if I remember correctly.
That's right. And I blew off Jerry Recco's wedding for that. And I kind of still feel bad about it. I love Jerry. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I wound up going to one of the greatest Knick wins of all time, if you really break it down. I was there in Game 6 when they won the Eastern Conference, and of course, eventually lost to the Spurs. You know, and I was there the following year, Game 6, when they lost at home. I could still see Reggie Miller kissing the court at the Garden as the Pacers went to the finals that year, and that turned out to be Patrick Ewing's last game as a Knick, as a matter of fact. So, been a lot of memories, and then of course the loss with Carmelo in 2013. I could still Roy Hibbert blocking that shot at the rim in Game 6.
Until this year, in my lifetime, Joe, as a Knicks fan, that 2013 team that won the 54 games, Melo third in the MVP voting, won the scoring title. That was the best Knicks team I've seen as a fan.
Right. Yeah. No, they were a good team, but they didn't get as far as they should have. They should have at least gotten to the the conference finals against Miami, and they didn't. So that was disappointing. And of course, last year, Anunoby gets hurt in Game 2. And they wind up losing Game 7 when, the Pacers couldn't miss a shot in Game 7. So they've beaten us 5. We played them 8 times in the playoffs, and they've won 5. And they won the last 3. So, it's time for a little payback with that. But, the Knicks Pacers series over the years have, they've been something else. There's no doubt about it. And remember this, okay? And I caution this to all Knicks fans. Just remember how important Game 1 is tomorrow at the Garden. They have never won a playoff series when they lost Game 1 at home. So keep that in mind. They're 0-6, and, keep that in mind. And 2 of those 6 were against the Pacers. So something to think about.
This is clearly their best chance at winning a title in a very long time. Would you say it's their best chance, not even since the last time they were in the finals in 99, but really that 94 team when Jordan first retired?
They got a great shot to win it, bro. I mean, they're still playing. There's 4 teams playing, and they're one of them. So they got a shot. I mean, sometimes I heard somebody say this, and sometimes it's so true. How many times did I think it was my year for my teams and it didn't happen? I go back to 93 when I thought we were going to win the championship. We're up 2-0 on the Bulls, and, we're going to finally beat Jordan. And then we know what happened, the Charles Smith Memorial. I still haven't recovered from that.
Number 1 in the the bracket of pain, right? When you and Evan did that.
Still, to me, the worst loss in the history of the franchise. I mean, you could talk about Game 7 in Houston all you want. I mean, to me, that was the worst. Nothing was worse than that. Losing to Jordan again and all of that. That team won 60 games. They'd won 37 straight games at the Garden. It was horrible, And remember, the Knicks missed 15 foul shots in that game in 93. I thought it was our year last year with the Rangers. They win the President's Trophy. They're rolling into the conference finals, and we know how that worked out. And look at the disaster they were this past year. So, so maybe, sometimes, you don't think it's your year. I mean, let's look at the Knicks this year. They pretty much, since maybe January, were locked into the 3rd seed, right? I mean, really, they were pretty much locked into the 3 seed in the East. Everybody, including me, thought, okay, well, they'll win the first round, right? I didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it was against Detroit, but I think that kind of helped the Knicks in a lot of ways. I think that kind of toughened them, that it was an old-fashioned 90s rock fight with Detroit. I think that kind of helped the Knicks in a lot of ways. But I think we all thought they'd lose to Boston in the second round. I didn't see one writer winning maybe more than 1 game. Maybe they'd win 2. I mean, so everybody kind of thought that. So nobody looked at this year as the Knicks year to win a championship. And sometimes the year finds you. So we can only hope that that's what's happening this year. But, 4 teams are playing, and they're one of them. So they got a realistic shot. And should Minnesota knock off Oklahoma City, and I don't know if I really want to play them because I don't really want to play DiVincenzo and Randall. But, they'll have the home court advantage in the finals too. So we'll see.
You brought up something interesting there, the how many times you thought, hey, this is finally our year.
Right.
When was the last time you felt that with the Jets? Did you believe in 98? Did you believe
I
it was
did.
possible
I
thought
it was our year in that we were going to win it. Not 98, but 99. It was actually going to be the year we were going to finally win it. I didn't think we were going to win it all in 98. I know we had a very good team. 99 going into the season, man, I felt good about them. And we all know what happened. Didn't waste too much time to end that dream,
Unreal. Now, a couple quick hitters for you before we wrap, Joe. Back in the day, you and Bill Belichick had a very close relationship. Boy. What is your take on him and the girlfriend and everything that transpired since he took the North Carolina job?
Well, I think he's taken a big hit, Bill. I mean, he looks terrible. Look, I'm not knocking him. You got an opportunity when you're 70 years old to be with a 24-year-old hottie. God bless you for that. But I think, she has much too much say, number one, in his life. I mean, I think he's, what she's running his businesses. I mean, what I understand that they were going to do a Hard Knocks with Bill at North Carolina, and they kiboshed it because she wanted to produce it. I mean, who is this girl? I mean, this girl's, let's be honest, she's with Bill for one reason and one reason only, for the publicity, because he is who he is. That's the only reason that some 24-year-old girl would ever be with a guy that's in his 70s. So let's be honest about it.
He's a handsome guy, Joe. A great personality, I'm sure.
He's really just couldn't be a better looking dude than he is, right?
It really is a crazy
makes
story.
me look good, which is, very difficult to do, bro. I see my wife, and I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful, she's still beautiful, my wife, and all of that. And I tell her all the time, when I'm looking at her sometimes, I say, do you have glaucoma? Can you see me? I wonder if she's got sight problems, but it has not helped Bill. I think if you're I'll put it this way. I think if you're a 70-year-old guy, you could probably, you can go out with you could be with a girl that's like 50. I think so. Maybe even 45. I don't know if you can go much lower than that. I think if you're going to have a serious relationship with a girl when you're 70, that's 24 is just not realistic. And I think it's really hurt Bill. I think it's really hurt him, as how people view him now. You know what I mean?
It is going to be fascinating how he does, right? Because it's not Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots doing this. He's coaching in a sport that he's never coached in before as a head coach.
Right. Right. And it's not even, he's not even coaching an SEC team or even a Big Ten team. He's coaching a team out of the ACC. So, North Carolina, I understand Lawrence Taylor went there, but, North Carolina's not exactly been in a football powerhouse over the years in college football.
100%. All right. Some other quick hitters I want to get your thoughts on. Any big takeaways from the Subway Series? I know you're not a fan of interleague play. We've talked about this before.
My takeaway is this: the overhypeness of a regular season series in May. And that's pretty much it. I'm happy the Mets at least got one. I didn't put a lot of credence in the series at all. It was all about Soto being, but by the way, freaking Soto. When the hell is this guy going to start to hit? Because I understand we're not even played 50 games yet, but I'm getting disgusted with him. And last night again, he did it again. Like, hits a ball off the wall at Fenway. He doesn't hustle. Alonso did it too. Alonso did the same thing. But, Juan Soto, man, I'm getting tired of him, coming up and big. He walks a lot. He does. Okay, great. He's got a great eye. He walks a lot. I'm supposed to get excited by that. Okay, because his OPS is over 800 when it was about 1,000 last year. But whatever. He never gets a big hit. I'm sick and tired of him rolling a ground ball to the pitcher, rolling a ground ball to the second baseman, right? Striking out in big spots. Getting tired of it. I really am.
Just not hustling is like come on, man.
Right. I mean, come on. I mean, give me a break. I think it's, and the whole team is not hitting right now. Alonso carried them early, Lindor a little bit, but they're getting nothing. Vientos has been terrible. Let's be honest. I mean, more and more we're looking at last year was a fluke with him. He's done absolutely nothing. I know he got a couple hits last night, but I'm getting tired of Alvarez. I actually think Luis Torrens is better. I'd rather have Luis Torrens playing being the catcher most of the time than Alvarez. Whatever happened to this guy? He had 25 home runs his rookie year. What happened to that? That looks like it's gone. I like Acuna a lot. He's kind of leveled off, but I think he's been good. Nimmo's giving him nothing. They keep batting Nimmo cleanup, and he's been terrible. He's another guy. You ever get a big hit? Swings at the first pitch all the time. I'm very upset with my baseball team. It's amazing they're 10 games over 500. Thank God for that. The pitching has really been good. Sanger gave him another solid effort last night after he was a little shaky early on. He hung in there for 6, kept them in the game. The bullpen, for the most part, has been good. They've had their bad moments lately, but they've been pretty good. And that's really the reason. Alonso being red hot, Lindor a little bit lately. That's why they're 10 games over 500 at this point. But I'm getting sick and tired of Soto doing nothing. When is he going to have? He's hit 8 home runs. 4 of the 8 have been in 2 games against Arizona. I mean, come on. He's got 20 RBIs. He's batting about 230. I mean, when are we going to see this guy have that breakout week or something to carry this baseball team, because so far he's been nothing more than average at best to this point. Let's be honest about it.
It surprises me just because this is a guy last year watching him every day, as of course a Yankee fan,
Right.
that there was
year.
never
He had 41 home runs for them last year.
and he got off to such an incredible start. There was never that moment where he had to deal with like the pressure of playing in New York and dealing with the media, because he just excelled in every big moment. I thought he was going to go off this weekend against the Yankees, because when he gets booed, I'm like, this is a type of guy that's going to feed off that. And he's not doing the Soto shuffle anymore. The body language is just different. I'm not saying he's not going to figure it out. He's too good of a player.
What? I will say, watching him every day as I do, he doesn't look happy. Right? I mean, I don't know how you can't look happy when you got $770 million coming your way.
Those are some of the reports. Bob Clappish wrote a whole article on that yesterday.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that. What did Clappish say?
Clappish said that there some high-level Met executives are concerned about his unhappiness, essentially, around the team in the clubhouse.
It looks that way. He doesn't look happy. And, I mean, and I didn't love the comment he made, well, I don't have Aaron Judge hitting behind me. What? Alonso he had Alonso,
the MVP of the NL. Yeah.
Right. Alonso was just smoking hot. I mean, so, if I was Alonso, I'd be a little ticked off by that. And maybe they are. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there is a little issue in the locker room with this guy that we don't know about. Okay. You said Clappish wrote about that. I didn't see it, but I've been saying this all year though, Jake, he just does not look happy at all.
It's fascinating. And I mean, look, you better figure it out. He's in, he's 2 months into a 15-year deal.
He's only here for 15 years, and nobody's taking that contract from the Mets. I can tell you that.
No. And then the other thing that came out yesterday is, people around the Mets apparently told Clappish, and I know Michael Kay echoed this on his radio show yesterday, that Soto's preference was to stay with the Yankees, but his family was urging him to go to the Mets. And I mean, you look at the private jet they gave his family, the clothing allowance, all the suites, and he was never going to get all that from the Yankees. That's not what they do. No,
not at all. He would have had to pay for that stuff. So, look, he hasn't been good. I mean, let's not show. And the only reason he hasn't taken a beating yet is because the Mets have been winning. Yeah. That's it. If the Mets were 10 games under 500 right now and he was doing this, he'd be getting booed to the high heavens at Citi Field. Let's be honest about it. So he's got to start hitting soon, bro. I mean, they got him for a lot of years, and he hasn't gotten the job done. And I'll tell you right now, too, if I was Mendoza, I'd shake the lineup up. I would start shaking the lineup up. I would move him out of the second spot. I'd move Lindor from the leadoff spot in the lineup. I'd start changing things around a little bit. I think the lineup needs some kind of reconstruction. I really do.
Joe, let's end on a positive note. Are we confident in the Knicks? Right? Knicks and how many? They got to get this done here.
It's going to be a tough series. You know, there's going to be a lot of pain in this series.
It can't be too easy.
I think it's going to be the typical knock them down, drag them out, 7-game series. And let's be honest, the pressure was on the Celtics in the last round. The pressure's on the Knicks now. There's no pressure on Indiana. Nobody's figuring Indiana was going to be here. Everybody thought it was going to be. By the way, I would have much rather played Cleveland. What a fraud they are. What a freaking fraud team the Cleveland Cavaliers are. Oh, my God. Oh. But anyway, if we were playing Cleveland now, I'd say we win it in 5. This is going to be a 7-game series. It's going to be very difficult. They better win game 1 tomorrow. I'm telling you, it's almost like a game 7 to me, because history tells me if they lose tomorrow, they're going to lose the series. So they better win game 1. And we'll see what happens. But I expect a very, very long and difficult series with a lot of twists and turns in it. But I think at the end of the day, Knicks in 7, and they won't win game 7 by 38 points. I feel very confident in making that statement, bro.
I think you're going to be right about that. Joe, you are the man. We'll catch up soon. Appreciate you hopping on. And there's been so many people asking for you to make your return back to the show. So I'm glad we got you on and got a chance to talk about such a big moment for the Knicks coming up here.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Jake? If we win, we'll go to the parade together.
Let's do it.
I'm waiting a long time.
I know you could move, Joe. I've seen. We all know you still got it.
Man, I can shake and bake with any 72-year-old. I can tell you that. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. But nevertheless, bro, always a pleasure. We'll go to the parade together if we win. 8 down, 8 to go. So let's get it done.
Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joe Benigno. Check out his podcast, the Oh the Pain podcast. Episodes come out twice a week. Joe put out one yesterday talking about the Knicks and the Subway Series. So definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely take a good look. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Reminder about our raffle, giving away a Joe Namath jersey and, in honor of the Knicks, a Walt Clyde Frazier jersey as well. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Super chat here from Pat Rich, who writes in, I have no faith this new regime will turn things around. This is about the Jets, of course. Unfortunately, this will always be a dysfunctional organization as long as Woody is the owner. And I get that sentiment, but this is what we were talking about with Joe. Dolan is the same owner when the Knicks were the worst franchise in sports. He didn't sell the team. It's the same guy. The same exact guy. He just hired the right people, and then the Knicks were able to finally get out of the abyss. You have to hope that Woody, who oversaw these hires, these were his hires, got it right with Aaron Glenn and Darren, as Joe would call him, Darren Muji, because if they're good at their job, the Jets can definitely get out of their own way and figure it out. In fact, I actually think it's easier to turn things, this is going to sound crazy because we're Jet fans. It's actually, to me, easier to get out of your own way in football than it actually is basketball. There's more parity in football than basketball, believe it or not. Basketball is so star-oriented. Football, if you get the right coach, you could be decent. You might not win a championship unless you have the right quarterback and you need a team. But if you have good coaching, you could be a competent football team. That's what people a lot of times fail to recognize. Rebecca writes in, if the Jets are going to be terrible this year, this is the year to do it. Manning's going to be the first pick in the draft, and he's good. I don't know, one, if he's coming out, Rebecca, and I don't know if Arch Manning's good yet. He's barely played in college. We don't know. And it feels like he's the type of guy, just like Peyton and Eli, that he's going to take his time in college. He's making an enormous amount of money in NIL. Not that he needs it. His last name is Manning. Like, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion Arch just comes out next year. I also don't think the Jets are going to be bad enough where they would be picking number 1 overall. I don't see it. Shake and Bake with a super chat. Who on the Pacers scares you other than Halliburton? They're just a really complete team, man. They got good players. Siakam's a really good player. I mean, you go down the line. They have probably like, people are going to bring up like Obi Toppin, but like they have like 10 or 11 guys who are in their rotation. Now we'll see if Carlisle shortens it a little bit now that we're in a spot where, you know, they're 4 wins away from going to the finals. But Miles Turner is a really good player. I mean, Nesmith who hit the shot in Game 3 last year. He's just annoying. TJ McConnell's just annoying. They got like scrappy, good players. They're really good offensively. Craig with a super chat. Jake, which jersey to get for the season? Q, JJ, or Fields? I would say Q or JJ. Fields you might only have for a year. You really want to invest in a Jet quarterback jersey? I'd be weary. Very weary of that. All right, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Reminder, $10 super chats get you 2 raffle entries. And this week we're giving away a Clyde Frazier jersey and a Joe Willie Namath jersey. We are presented today by Huga House. Huga House, their new performance line hats are out. 20% off when you use my code ASMAN at checkout. That's ASMAN at HugaHouse.com. Use promo code ASMAN at checkout. Phone lines open if you want in on the conversation. Bang wanted me to ask Joe about Sauce and the contract. We already talked about it at the top of the show, Bang. Joe is not the biggest Sauce guy. He's hoping Glenn will get him back to what he was the first 2 years, which I think is fair. Dakota writes in, already on my second cup of coffee, downed a medium-sized bag of Lay's Bacon grilled cheese chips, stocked up on 2 big bags of them, got my crispy chicken nuggets, later crispy chicken wings. Congrats to Dakota on being obese. Thank you for the comment. All right, to your calls we go. First up today, a 3rd straight show where this guy is batting leadoff. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Clifton time.
People are going to start thinking I have nothing better to do, Jake.
We need you, Kyle. We need you.
Well, I'm here. I think that there's a reason for cautious optimism with the Jets. As down as Joe B was, like, if we all thought that this team was very talented and that Joe Douglas had procured good players and they just weren't performing on the field, that's telling us it's coaching, right?
Agreed.
Everyone is saying that this guy, Aaron Glenn, is ready. We're saying he's a Parcellian devotee. He's someone who's going to have accountability, which we know the team sorely lacked. We saw it brought into the limelight once Ulbrich was elevated, right? That team was totally aimless. And I think the point that you made about, tell me a bad team that's never had that's had a good O-line, that's pretty poignant, right? It's something that's going to really sticks with me. If we can find a way to run the ball, we are going to compete in the bulk of the games that we're in because the schedule is that easy. That's just how I feel about it. I think
I'm concerned about the start of the schedule. Like, I don't want this new regime to get buried early. I think getting off to a decent start, especially winning week 1, if Rodgers is the quarterback for the Steelers, will go a long way towards some excitement being generated for this fan base again.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we've seen over Rodgers the last 2 years, I'm not that impressed. Like, he's a good mental quarterback whose physical skills have obviously receded, right? Like, he can't make the extra move within the pocket to get an extra second to get the ball out anymore. He gets the ball out quickly if guys aren't covered, but it's not the same Rodgers that we saw during the MVP years in Green Bay. It's just not. That doesn't mean that he can't win if the defense is dominant or if they have a dominant running game. It could be that he'll be fully back after 2 years off the Achilles, but I'm not. You can't run from anyone in this league, right? You're going to roll out the balls. You're going to play the games, and if the worst game that we have on our schedule is the Pittsburgh Steelers in Game 1, I think we're doing okay. Baltimore is one of the teams that scares me. Other than that, I mean, the Bills, that's a division game. Those are always important. But, we're going to have 4 winnable division games. Like, the Patriots aren't there yet, and the Dolphins are on their way down, in my view. That's the state of the Jets from where I sit.
I love it. As you're talking, Rebecca, Jets start 0-6. This fan base is so split.
Well, no, I know. I understand why people are reticent to buy in, and I'm not necessarily saying I'm buying in. I'm saying cautious optimism, right? There's
a path to not being as bad as what many think, is how I would describe it.
Right, and a lot of it is going to fall on Justin Fields and the development of our shiny new tight end, because we need to be able to move the ball on offense.
I think the whole key to having a season, Kyle, is for this team to be around 4 wins at the bye week.
Yeah, okay, that's
remember,
fair.
A couple of years ago, without Aaron Rodgers, the Jets were 3-3 at their bye, and then they beat the Giants in an ugly ass game. That, ironically enough, I was there with Joe B that day, and they were 4-3, and then it all kind of fell apart because the coaching staff got exposed and Zach Wilson's terrible, all that. But like that team was able to actually get out of the gate and not kill themselves without Aaron Rodgers. So can this team surprise? Like, you're playing good teams, but you're better off playing them early, seemingly, than later on in the year when things click. The Eagles were 2-2 last year before it clicked. And
we know it's a year-to-year league. Just because the Broncos were good last year, I mean,
right,
players like JFM could fall off a cliff, right? And and the next thing you know, you're playing them in a game in London, and those games are always weird, and it's a little wet out, it's a little rainy, and you steal one. I want to see what the team looks like after we get through, post-draft cuts and stuff, and see if we can kind of develop an identity run the ball, and improve on defense and special teams. And if we can do that, then maybe we have something. I appreciate your time, Jake.
Kyle, we appreciate your calls. Great job. Look, getting out of the gate, I think, is very important. And it's gonna be tough. I get why fans, a lot of them don't see it. It's hard to believe. Rebecca says every team all caps Rebecca too. Wow. Was Bobby Midnight in the chat? Every team knows that the Jets will run the ball and they'll put 8 in the box. That's where you have Garrett Wilson. That's where Mason Taylor needs to make plays. You got to have guys being schemed open by a offensive coordinator who comes from the Lions, where he was the pass game coordinator. They ran a lot of play action. Right? Also, that's great if every team knows the Jets are going to run the ball. We have an offensive line that should be able to protect Justin Fields. They're stacking the box. Boom. Let's drop back and we hit Breece Hall with the screen. The Jets never ran screens last year. It was infuriating. Let him stack the box. Better watch out because Fields on an RPO is going to run around and make a big play with his legs. That's what you got to hope. That's if you want to be optimistic. If you think they're going to suck, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. They got to prove it. But I also have to talk about this team every day, and me saying every day on the show on May 20th, the team's going to be terrible. There's no hope. I don't think it's a very fun show. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. If you want information on our Tampa Bay ASMANIAC meetup, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Check the announcement tab in the Discord. We have a Saturday night party already planned, working on a tailgate. Have a meeting today with one of the hotel groups in Tampa to try and get people a group rate for those making the trip. So week 3 against the Bucks. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. By the way, if you want to join us at Yankee Stadium on June 29th for Knicks and the A's, someone reached out yesterday and locked in a ticket. There's still a couple left. So if you want to go, here's the view from the seat. We have a couple spots that are left for those of you who are interested. Just click the link in the description and lock in your place. And as soon as I get the official tickets from the Yankees, if you already bought a ticket, it will be emailed out to you. More of your calls right now on our show today. Please click that like button if you haven't. Charleston Jets Rube is next on the program. Hello, Charleston.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
How are you?
Well, I know Joe B's shtick is kind of to be a negative guy, but I don't think I've ever heard him so negative. I really don't think that that's right for him to be insulting Muji, calling him names and all that. I get being so negative if we're running back Ulrich, or if we're, if we were bringing back Salah, if we never fired him. But these are new guys. And I get, I've been a Jet fan for over 40 years. I think Joe B over 60 years. I get it's been bad for a long time. But Jesus, he couldn't have any more of a get the hell off my lawn vibe that I've ever heard by anybody. I mean, it's honestly, I love you, Jake, and I love your programming, and I literally watch every single one of your shows both days. But man, I don't know if I want to watch his segments because number one, if he's going to be that negative, holy Christ, and number two, I don't want to watch him be happy if things do go good this year because, I get it. I don't want to be too hard on him, but God damn, dude, why does he have to start insulting our new GM and calling him names? What the hell is wrong with you, man? And I know this is probably going to piss a lot of people off because he's a big-time Jets legend, whatever. But Jesus Christ, dude, what is wrong with you?
It's fair if you want to criticize him, not rip it on Muji or whatever, fine. But if the Jets are good, you don't get to say, oh, you don't get to enjoy it now. That's not fair. Joe's been with his team since before they were even the Jets.
I get it, but the way he's talking is he's thinks that we're going to be a 2-win team, and it's what was that comment about Sauce? Does he watch football?
He's never been high on Sauce the last year.
I know, but his first 2 years, you could possibly say he was the best quarterback in football. Last year, I believe, according to all the numbers, he was still a top 5, top 6 guy.
Sure.
How is that guy a bum? I honestly think Joe B's losing it in his old age, man. His takes today were fucking terrible, dude. absolutely terrible.
He's beaten down, man. He's
I
beaten
mean,
down.
I'm
The team
beaten
has been
down
awful.
too. You know, before we hired Glenn, I don't know if you remember, we talked, we both wanted like an offensive guy and preferably someone with experience and all that good stuff. But, you know, we got what we got now. We've got a lot of talent. I think this draft was a lot better than what people are giving it credit for. I just go back to round 4 and that Dikey guy and then that other wide receiver that were rated like 6th round guys too were taken before our guys. So everybody that says, "Oh, Arian Smith would have been there in the 6th round," that's bullshit. Because both those guys were like the 180th rater and 240th rated player. There was a run on those speed wide receivers. And the fact that people think that this was a horrible draft because of one 4th round pick, have you not been a Jet fan the last however many years? What the hell have we gotten in the 4th round? So to automatically throw this young guy who's coming here and is excited to be here and wants to prove himself under the bus the second that they hear his name, and it's just been relentless ever since. I don't know, man. I just think it's way, way too much negativity. But
You do realize this is a franchise that has the longest playoff drought in professional sports. They have not won more than 7 games in 10 years. They have not had a home playoff game in over 20. They haven't won a championship since before the moon landing. So I'm
I've
not
been
saying
watching
you're
since
wrong.
'84. I've
I
been watching since '84, so I
like
know.
you get it, and I'm not, you're not wrong. I'm just trying to give you the other side. Like, I understand, like, there's a lot of Jet fans. The last, like, this is what I mean when they've done irreparable damage. Like,
I get it. I get
like
it.
the hype and expectations of the last 2 years, and just, it's not like they just were disappointing. These were nightmare seasons. Like, as bad as it could have gone, it was worse. Like, that's what we're talking about here. So it's done a lot of damage to people, and people just aren't going to believe it until they see it.
I hope Joe B doesn't have any health problems because the way he's acted, like he's only got 1 or 2 years left for the Jets to win the prize. You know, I mean, I've just never heard somebody so negative. Like I said, if we would have ran back any of the same regime that we had, I would get it. But we are starting anew. And, you know, I wasn't thrilled with the Aaron Glenn hire, and I know you don't win games in the offseason, but he has kind of done everything exactly how you would have wanted him to do it, I think. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, that's just my take. And go Wolves. I hope it's a Knicks Wolves final, but I feel like the Wolves are going to beat Oklahoma City in 6. Have a good one, Jake. Love you, bud.
Charleston, I appreciate the call, man. And I get what you're saying. Like, you want to be positive, like, you have every right to. It's hard. Peter Castro says, none of you realize we had no coaching staff at all last year. Let's see what we have before judgment. I think it'll be a lot better than you think. I'm with you. As far as the coaching staff, I don't know if they're going to be as good as you think, though, Peter. What do you have them winning 10 games, I think you said? Alex says, Jets depression from Joe. You cannot blame him. I mean, it's sad what this franchise has done to people. But it's not even just Joe. Like, think about how many people didn't renew their tickets. It's a lot of people. Jet fan since Bert says, let's be honest, Joe sucks, brings down the value of the show. I would disagree, Jets fan, because I gain more new subscribers every time Joe's on than anything else I post. So people like Joe. You might not like his opinions, but people care. He relates to a lot of long-suffering Jet fans. John says, how many times have we hit the restart button and still missed the playoffs? A lot. A lot. That's the problem. But this new regime, the one thing you have to say is until they prove they're incompetent, we can't operate like they are incompetent, like they deserve a chance here. So we'll see. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. What we're going to do right now is take a quick break, and when we come back, get into plenty of your calls. It's the Jake Asman Show right here on a Tuesday. Everything is up for grabs. Knicks Pacers, Subway Series, the state of the Jets, that and more when we come back right here on our program.
Do you guys remember
there was an incident in Las Vegas where a man attacked a Clark County judge. After this happened, I said, the guy in the video is actually a listener of the show. So not the guy who basically like Troy Polamalu'd over like the judge dais, but the guy that is a listener of the show is the hero who tried to immediately apprehend this wacko. And yesterday, Michael Lasso, the law clerk who helped protect the Clark County judge who was attacked in court last month, was named Citizen of the Month in Vegas. You could see our guy Michael Lasso on the left there. It's a pretty cool moment for Michael, who joins us right now. What's up, Michael?
How you doing, Jake? Good to see you.
Man, what's it like being a hero?
Oh my God, you know what I mean? It's so honestly, it's just so surreal and so humbling. Truly, I never expected it to be, on SNL and TikTok and Twitter. And
while I fly this way, right? Mm-hmm. The bear he run behind me, he fall down. Look at him, man. That's terrible, man.
It's really just incredible, to be honest. And that leap that man did was pretty impressive. And I think that's part of the reason why that video has gone so crazy.
I mean, the guy, like, he timed the snap perfectly, right? Like, he did the full Troy Polamalu over the. I mean, what goes through your mind in real time as that's happening? Like, you even have time to think? Was it all just natural reaction? Kind of take us through what's happening there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's no time to think for sure. I mean, the video doesn't even do it justice, just that how fast that actually occurred. I mean, 1 minute he's sitting there just talking about how, he'll accept whatever the judge is willing to give him. And then the next minute he's on top of the judge. So when he initially made a run, I thought, okay, he's going for the door. Last thing I thought he was going for the judge, and I definitely didn't think he was ever going to make contact. It was so nice to the mayor. It was so nice to the city. It was such an incredible experience. I mean, when the mayor first called me, I answered the phone, and I'm thinking to myself, who is this? The mayor? Do you have the right number?
The video honestly doesn't even do it justice as to just how fast it really was. I mean, it went from just any normal day to just, honestly, just straight, havoc. I mean, it was in a blink of an eye, and there really wasn't much time to think. You just kind of react.
I mean, I remember when it happened, and like the video was everywhere, and then you told me that was you, and I was like, what? No way. And I just I couldn't believe it, man.
I know. I wish I could have came on your show earlier, but obviously the sentencing was still going on. There were things in motion, so I just couldn't. But I really appreciate you giving me a chance and coming on here.
It's not every day that, a listener to the show is like a legitimate hero. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, what ended up happening? Was he sentenced? Where's the guy who, attacked you?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, he was given the sentence he was going to get originally. He's got new charges that he's facing, and that's going on in a different courtroom with a different judge, and we'll kind of see where that goes.
Can you believe that when they brought me back to court, they put a muzzle on me, man?
Yeah, probably for everybody's safety.
Man, I ain't bite nobody.
That's unbelievable, man. I love it. A Jet fan is a hero out in Las Vegas.
And those clips of Judge Allen, oh my God, those had me dead. Oh my God, those are the best things I've ever seen. I don't know. I just Gatorade. Those are incredible.
I believe you mean this right here.
I'd rather be the Jake Asman heel than the Robert Saleh truther any day of the week. But it's weird because I don't see myself as a heel. I think I'm a realist.
I don't want to hear none of that shit. You do not root for no damn New England to win shit.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Oh my God. Thank you again, Jake.
Michael, you're the man. Appreciate you joining the show, brother. We have the best audience. I've always said it. That's as good as it gets right there.
Here we go, buddy.
Let's go, baby. Good luck to the Irish, baby. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Jet fans.
Joe Douglas knows what he's doing.
You know what? I should probably mix in a water sip, too, so I got you.
We won too many games. We're not going to get Joe off.
I'm wearing the chain, baby. Last time this was worn, it was you. Oh, you got a TOJ glass there?
Oh, yeah.
So let's go.
Hey, let's go. Salute, Neil. I love it.
Let's go, bro.
All right, I'll have a sip of water. Just kidding. Psych. Let's go, lady. Cheers.
I don't know what the hell y'all doing. Oh, Tyron Smith gonna be mauling all you motherfuckers in the division next year. Oh.
It just feels weird, you being on the other end of this video call. So I actually talking to the real Gator. I was fortunate because I got a chance to basically do radio every single week, doing a 1-hour talk show and call some games for the high school station for football, baseball, basketball, etc. That was definitely huge in my discovering and reiterating, so to speak, my passion. I was a very charismatic kid, and then how do you take what you do off there on the air, where you're comfortable no matter the circumstance. I think that just happens over time with reps.
This is an ICTV special report.
Between that and then get reps, get on air in a bunch of different roles, that was the most beneficial aspect of IC. I was sending out my demo tape that I made in college to everyone. And
Jake Asman here with New York Knicks All-Star Carmelo Anthony.
Well, there was definitely some pot smoking. I don't think weed was legal yet. I think it's the coolest thing ever to see events where listeners are hanging out with one another and they met through the show. That is such a rewarding feeling to feel like you are part of a community built up where friendships are being born through the common bond of you tune in to watch Jake Asman talk about our crappy football team. So I think that's pretty cool. Jake Asman was scheming early on, Gator, and that was a phenomenal time. Even though I wasn't a great athlete myself, I didn't have the makings of a varsity athlete, to quote Junior Soprano.
All I know is you never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Apparently, the ASMANIACS would like to know if Jake has a relationship, of some sort, or you prefer to keep that super private.
Podcaster Origin Story.
Excuse me, miss. I need to return this damn child. He's no good. Sometimes a child just is no good. Take his one back.
All right, let's keep rolling. You want to talk about Hall of Fame level callers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to our guy, Scott.
Hey, what's up? Great stuff. How the hell you be a swing tackle in the scheme of what you're doing? I mean, what the hell are you going to get? What do you say if I have this guy, we can have this guy? That's garbage. That's garbage. No. You can look at the whole dynamics of it, and it's tough and it's cool, but what the schematics that Jake, I love you, I respect you. It's fictitious crap. I mean, how? I mean, look at a ballerina, and a ballerina knows how to move her hips and knows how to move her body. And you're laughing, but it's true, Jake. I love you. I respect you. But look, you don't put words in my face. I can show you how a ballerina, if you turn her body in a certain way, you can see how she moves. And it's just...
Hi, how are you? Bruce Hall. That's good.
Lane, what's up, Lane Kerner?
Hey, and I'm Jake, my brother. Do you have any other ideas about what you do now because the season's over?
I hope they draft really good players that help the Jets win.
I'm hearing that they might get, was it Knoble? Yeah. I see him going.
Wait.
I don't know.
Lane, who's Knoble?
The guy that the guy that was in college?
Well, a lot of these draft prospects were in college, so I'm trying to figure out who you're referring to. What position does Knoble play?
Was he because I think he plays in one of the college and stuff.
I don't know who Knoble is.
Yeah, Knoble. I forgot his last name. I would have to look it up.
All right.
And okay, thank you for taking my call.
Who's Knoble?
BJF, I'm gonna need you to figure out who this Knoble guy is. You're more of a draft guy than I am.
Knoble at 10. He's bust proof. Lane should get to announce the draft pick. No matter who they pick, you should say we took Knoble.
That was a top 3 Lane call ever. You're welcome, Gator. I can't wait to see what you do with that one. We had everything in there. He gave us a Bruce Hall. He gave us this Knoble character. I don't know who he's talking about, but maybe we'll figure it out. Whoa, holy crap, I can't believe it. Lane Kerner's in the house. Choo-choo. We are all aboard the Lane train. Hello, Lane. You guys know when the Lane train calls in, this show could go anywhere, so buckle up. What's up, Lane Kerner?
Zach Wilson is not going to come back. Why don't you think he's going to sign still with the Jets? Is it because he's not good?
He stinks.
Oh, stinks? Yeah, same feeling.
The guy is terrible.
I said announce the draft picks.
Lane, I want you to announce a Jets pick. That would make my
yeah.
life.
I mean, who am I going to pick though for the draft? On the 2022 draft pick, the pick goes to Knoble out of college. Then they tell you who the players are from, and their families get excited. You sign him, he's to be good going into week 1. Yeah, I know a lot of the football.
That was amazing. I love you, Lane. You're the best. What a draft pick. Lane, you are a national treasure. I think in classic Charles Gorman fashion, I saw a comment from Charles that said, "Who is Knoble?" As we played a full video explaining exactly who Knoble is. So, Charles, I go to you next. Do you still not know who Knoble is?
I think Lane Train's an idiot. I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
What do you mean he's an idiot?
He's making stuff up. Who's Knoble? I looked him up on the internet, and he's not there.
He is. He went to college.
Guys, stop it. Seriously, I know the bullshit coming out of your mouth. It's bullshit.
Charles, I don't like your tone.
Here,
Charles.
how do you spell Knoble?
Charles, I don't need to dignify your nonsense. See you later. Get out of here. How do you spell Knoble? Doesn't matter how to spell Knoble. All that matters is he's one of the great prospects we've ever seen. More of your calls right now. Let's go to Jake Klein. What's up, Jake?
Well, actually, first off, for 1 second, who's Knoble?
No, he's a phenomenal prospect for the New York Jets.
I tried Googling it. It said like amusement park things. I was like,
No, he played at college.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll Google it another time, but
See you later. Jake, thanks for the time. Charles writes in, enough with the chicken soup talk. I'm pissed because of the stupidity this show has succumbed to. Hello, Charles.
Enough with the stupidity. I understand this Lane Train guy may be a nice guy, but does he even know what he's talking about? I've been looking this Kenobi guy nonstop. Here, I'll share you my screen with you. I know you're laughing, Jake.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
Knoble.
Type in Knoble out of college. It comes right up. It's like the first search. Type it in.
I am out of college. There's no such thing as him.
You believe everything you see on the internet? You're telling me your Google is accurate right now?
Yes, it is accurate.
How is it possible, Charles, if Knoble's not real, that Gator was able to put together an entire draft profile?
Knoble, FP football player from college. He is 5'7", 109.8 LBS, prospect grade 0.0, production score 69, and an athletic score of 007. He's very good, gets flag penalties, but he's very, very good, and I'm very good at this, taking football players.
You're defending Lane Train. That's what you're doing.
He played for the Rhinos. You just saw it.
Jake, if you want to lose a subscriber, stop right now.
Charles, I will take Lane Train over anybody. So if you're going to unsubscribe to my channel over Lane Train, then you know what? You got to do what you got to do.
Stop defending Lane Train.
Charles.
He doesn't know what he's talking about, Jake. How about stop lying to yourself, stop lying to these people, and actually say the truth? I'm on your Discord, and one guy called Frankie Castle agrees with me.
Charles, I'll just keep playing Lane Train Sounders if you keep slandering the man.
I'm not slandering the man. I'm telling him. But you know what? I'm not in the mood right now. Goodbye.
Charles, thank you for the time. Well, people, are you Team Lane or Team Charles?
So when he was calling, he was so frustrated. He's like, Jake, I'm Googling it right now. And Jake, he's just following the kind of, the line, how ridiculous can we go? And Jake goes, are you really going to trust your search engine over what we're saying?
I'm glad this guy called in because he was slandered earlier, and I will not stand for this.
Hi, how are you?
The Lane Train. What's up, Lane Kerner?
How are you? Great. The 2 for this draft coming up, who do you take going into the 10th round for the draft? Do you take Brian, or do you want to take there's a lot of different players. Who do you think?
Who's Brian?
Yeah, the guy that he drafted. Brian, what's his last name? Brian,
What's Brian's last name? Do you know?
I forgot. There's a lot of other ideas. So who do you see going to the Jets in the 10th round, in the first round?
I really want them to take Knoble, and you brought him up a couple times.
Yeah, I know. But what happens if they don't get him? Then what do? Do you go? Do you maybe go after somebody else? I don't think we need anybody else. I mean, I think that, you're going to work around the whole team going into next year.
Great point. Lane, thank you for the call. I hope you had a good Sunday.
You too. Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
Charles's head is spinning after that call. Chugga, 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 choo, choo. Knoble continues to rise up draft boards, right? So I put in an interview request with his agent to get Knoble on the show. We're going to do this live, and hopefully the internet connection's okay. We go live to Knoble. Knoble, thanks for joining the show. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Jake. Thanks for having me on the Tube U show. Happy to be here, man.
So before we do anything, can you clarify just the proper spelling of your name?
My name? Well, it's Knobly. But I lost my birth certificate and they spelled it wrong on my application to college. You could spell it with an E or an A or a C or a K. It's all dope all the time, bro.
Where are you from? Your fans are not really familiar with you.
I'm from Niue, a small island near Hawaii. We got like 350 people living here, and 37 of them are my relatives. We got one university, and our football team has 13 players, which is great because we get to play offense and defense.
Wow. All right. So, obviously you really have risen up draft rankings because the Lane train has hyped you up, and you have massive expectations on you now from a lot of Jet fans out there. How do you handle, all the hoopla, all the expectations that surround you?
Damn, bro. I owe that guy my life. A few weeks ago, I was working in my uncle's macadamia nut farm, and now I'm visiting NFL teams all over the country. They say in Google searches I'm the third most searched for name next to Diddy and Zach Wilson's mom.
Wow. When did you realize you were a special talent, Knoble? When did this happen?
Well, I ran circles around my teammates, but in 2 years, we haven't won a game here. Honestly, my coach calls me a useless wet bag of shit. Not sure what that means, but I guess I'm good enough to enter the draft.
All right. On that note, what would it mean to you to play for a team like the Jets, play in front of a guy like Lane Train and so many diehard Jet fans?
Man, that would be crazy. I would be a weapon for that team because I can play any position. One time I caught my own pass, scored, and then kicked the extra point. Making the Lane Train proud is all I'm about, Mr. Jake. Choo-choo! Mother effing choo! Peace.
Is there any truth to the rumor you're having Knoble on your show?
Maybe.
Who the fuck do you think you are, Charles? I'm the Knobly, and I'm playing for the Jets next year. You better get used to it, motherfucker, because I'm coming to get you.
Did you see the interview we did with Knoble yesterday when he called in?
No, I did not.
I'm just kidding, Charles. I love you, man. You're the greatest. I just want to be your friend, okay? So, please do my friend. Motherfucker!
All right. Charles, thank you for the time today. Last night on a radio station in this town known as The Fan, WFAN, Keith McPherson took a call from Bobby Midnight, who wanted to ask some questions about Knoble.
All right, let's go back to Bob in Vermont.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think the Jets and Giants will do on the draft, your choices? And also, do you ever hear of a player from college called Knoble?
Knobu? From what school?
College.
Yeah, but what college?
It's just college. Do you ever hear that guy's name?
No, I've never heard of Knobu from college.
Knobo.
Knobo from college? What position does he play?
He plays offense and defense.
He plays offense and defense? He's a two-way guy?
Yep, that's what he said.
How do you spell the last name?
Knobo. I can't remember how you spell it. It starts with K, I know that.
Okay, because I'm spelling it wrong on Google.
No, Knobo.
Thanks for the call, Bob. I do not know who Knobo is. Maybe somebody listening knows of a player, a two-way player coming out of college that gives you like 300 options. I'm looking at Zoo. He's just laughing. I'm trying to find out. A two-way player plays offense and defense. Knobo is coming.
Do you ever hear her Knoble?
There were 2 listeners of mine who called WFAN asking 2 separate hosts if the Jets should take Knoble, and each host was like, they were stumped. They're like, I haven't done enough draft prep. I'm unaware. And they're reciting lines from the show.
John and Seaford, what's up, bud?
A lot of these Jets fans out there want Brock Bowers.
Yes, that is the sexy name surrounding the Jets.
I think the 3 options you go, O-line, receiver, or if Knoble out of college is there, you got to take Knoble. 5'7", 198, plays both sides of the ball. Not sure if you know him. Mel Kiper had him top 15 pick. What are your thoughts on Knoble?
I don't know him that well. I'll be totally honest with you. Bro, I got to do more draft prep. You said he plays both sides of the ball. Makes me think, who plays both sides of the ball in the NFL?
We now have Knoble's testing numbers. There's a reason why Knoble has skyrocketed off the draft boards here. He has tremendous testing numbers. It's tremendous. The only knock on Knoble is he's 5'7", 198. But he's a two-way player. He can play both sides of the ball. And if you were listening to WFAN last night, it was Rob from Glenhead, not Johnny Quest impersonating Rob from Glenhead, called in to ask FAN host Keith McPherson if the Jets should consider this Knoble guy.
Let's go to Rob in Glenhead first up on the Fan.
Well, yeah, I'm out right now with my friend Neil Chipotle, just chilling out, talking Jets, smoking cigars. I was listening yesterday to your show. The guy Bobby from Vermont called up about this guy Knoble. Yeah, I think I found out who he was talking about.
Okay, what college? What school?
I didn't get that, but there was an NFL Network did a spotlight on him. Neil, look up the college this kid went to. So it's pronounced Knoble when he was in an island, but then they changed to Knoble when he came over. They were talking about. I think his brother was a 7th round pick in like 2022. Dude, the kid. Listen, I don't know if he's going to go in the first round, but he plays receiver and nickel corner. His stats are crazy.
Do you know how to spell his last name? I have not heard of this kid.
Knoble. Neil, look it up. Spell his name. 40-yard dash, 4.3. Cone drill, 6.41. I don't even know if that's good. You know, you're an athlete. Is that good?
I guess 6.41. It could be faster.
Vertical, 47.
No, that's ridiculous.
The fact is this: if you're getting a receiver and a nickel, if he plays receiver, we need a receiver, right? Because Lazard's terrible. And if he's nickel corner, we have Michael Carter, who I think is going to be a free agent next year. You can't afford him, so you replace him.
I don't know, but that's what confused me yesterday. We're talking about a two-way player getting drafted and expected to play both ways?
Yeah, dude. I never heard of it, so I saw it on the NFL Network. And then when Bobby was talking about it, I'm like, that sounds familiar. I looked it up. The crazy thing, he's from like some small island near Hawaii. They have like 350 kids. It was like 13 kids on his high school team. That's why he went both ways. I know most times in New York and New Jersey, everyone goes both ways.
In high school, yeah, but in college, that's why I'm like, I haven't been watching NFL Network.
If they can get this kid in the first, I don't think he's going to fall to 10, and maybe the Giants. Maybe the Cowboys get him. Where the Cowboys pick him?
24, they're cooked.
He'll probably be gone by then.
Do you know the spelling of his name?
Oh, Neil, you got that name?
Yeah, here
all
it
right.
is.
K-A-N-O.
Yep.
B-L-E. I'm going to hang up and listen, Keith. Be good, all right?
Yeah, thanks for the call. So we were talking last night. Yeah, Bob from Vermont called in, was talking about this kid, and I never heard of him. K-A-N-O-B-L-E NFL draft? Nah, you guys got to be trolling me. This is like the tale of like, I don't know, like a Bigfoot or something. Like this is a two-way player that plays wide receiver, nickel corner. He's got a 47-inch vertical. I haven't heard of the guy, but I don't think 2 different calls would call about this Knoble guy.
How did you hold it together, man? I'm dying. My ribs hurt from laughing at that.
I was just pacing back and forth, trying to get as much shit out as I could, dude. That green cone, the 6.41, I had no clue if that was good. That's why I asked him. Meanwhile, I looked it up after. That's a really good time. He's like, oh, it could be better than that. 47 vertical is ridiculous. My son was like, Dad, 47? I'm like, I don't know. I just made it up. Like, he kind of almost like, he's like, oh, it's fake. But he's like, no, it's got to be real.
And I'm getting like listeners like tweeting me graphics of like Knoble in a Jets jersey being like 1 week from today.
Bobby, good morning. How are you?
First, the Jets, okay? Mm-hmm. I wanted to see what you think about the Jets draft choice, and I got a choice that you might wanted to hear from. Like Knoble from college, he's supposed to be good. He plays both ways. He's from college. Do you ever hear of the guy?
Bob, you know what? I got to be honest with you, and I thank you for the phone call. There's a lot of guys who play in college. I'm not familiar with that name that you threw out there, to be quite honest with you. You guys know who he was talking about? Because it totally escaped my mind. The two-way prospect playing Ironman football, which, you know, like I said, not too familiar with there.
It went on so much further than I ever thought could be possible. It's some of the best shit I've ever seen.
Plenty on the table. Up to Vermont we go. It's Bob. It's the fan. What's going on, Bobby?
Hey, Moose, I heard about this player called Knoble from college. Do you ever hear Knoble from college?
No, who's that?
His name is Knoble. He plays both ways from college.
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
You never heard of Knoble?
No. And Bob, thanks a lot for the call. It's been forever.
This whole thing just happened so organically. Like, and I have Buffalo on every Wednesday on my show, and we were just taking calls, and Lane called in, and he starts saying the Jets should draft this guy, and he couldn't figure out the guy's name, and then he just says Knoble out of college. we're like who?
And that was the origin. Just
that was it. He just said that, and then like we turned it into this whole character. He can play too. He's the best player of the draft. He can play, but he plays all 22 positions. And like,
oh my God.
And then like the listeners just ran with it and like gave him like an origin story, and then Gator does what Gator does. He gave him a scouting report, and now we're getting like 3 people calling the fan in the last 24 hours.
I hope it never stops.
We have a great coach in Robert Saleh, I think.
You think?
Yeah, he's great.
What makes him great?
Because he knows how to coach a team. He gets really competitive.
Do you want me to throw the podium on the floor?
He yells those guys like, he sounds like, come on. He throw his headset. He said, are you crazy? What is going on? No more questions. Next media.
Lane Train. What's up, Lane?
Hi. How is everything? Yes?
Lane?
Oh, hello. Hi. Did you see Aaron Rodgers on the Patrick McAfee program on the YouTube?
What happened?
Look, okay. Do you think he should play football for the Jets this year? Or maybe wait until the next time he can play next year?
I think he should play for the Jets this year, Lane.
Did you watch the Charles Gorman show on the YouTube? He has his own channel, and it's really interesting.
Oh, Chiefs fan. Oh, shit. Oh, let me bring him in.
Hey, Charles, Chiefs fan here.
I can't see your mouth open.
Do you collect used bandages?
What used bandages?
I have a 1987 Band-Aid from an AIDS-infected Rock Hudson before he kicked the bucket. Anyway, gotta go because my battery is about to run out.
No problem. Oh, V-Man's here.
Oh, get him in.
What the fuck is happening here?
Oh my! What are you talking about?
Maybe for Jake's show, you could arm wrestle me. Then after we make some coquito and slap each other silly, would you be into that?
Oh, there's Red Diddy. He's still trying to get in here. Should I ban him?
No, let Chiefs fan in. Let's see him.
Am I still frozen?
Yes.
Oh, fucking bullshit. I just spilled gravy on my nuts. Let me call back.
Oh, my God.
What? Oh, my God. On one hand, I'm really sad because I thought Lane called in. On the other hand, that was an epic Gator call. Oh, my God. What did we just watch? All right, we're back. Hit the like button, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. And first up this segment is Why Can't I Find His Intro? V-Man.
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he not sleeping. Adios mio.
Hello, V-Man. You're on mute, V-Man. Can't hear you. Gotta unmute the microphone. Thank you for the time. For those wondering where I was attempting as a Knicks season ticket holder to buy NBA Finals tickets. And I still can't buy them because I'm having tech issues, it's saying. The whole site is down. So that's where I was. Thought it would be a quick thing. It is not. Still don't have confirmed tickets. The fact that I even get to say out loud NBA Finals tickets that I'm trying to purchase right now is insane. But there's nothing I could do. Oops, error. We're experiencing tech issues. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, V-Man is back. Hello, V-Man.
Sorry, something's up with my webcam, so I had to switch to my phone. I don't know what's up with it. It's like when I first put it in, it wouldn't even register, so I had to refresh the browser. And I guess it still wouldn't pick up the mic. I guess I gotta buy a new one. I don't know.
Well, it's good to have you back, V-Man.
Yeah, it's been a while. I see you're repping we're both repping Knicks for tomorrow's game.
That's correct.
Yeah. And it's going to be one hell of a series, no matter what happens.
It better be.
Yeah. No.
They got to win though. I don't want a good series. I want the Knicks to win.
Yeah, no, I'll be walking by that tomorrow night as I as I'm heading to work. So I'll be able to. I'll know the energy, how the city feels, even if I'm not able to properly watch the game because I'm on the train.
Are you good at evaluating the energy, V-Man?
Sometimes.
Is that one of your strong suits?
Yeah, like I said, sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes, sometimes I'm off. It's just life. It's like it's just that quiet period right now with football. Waiting for training camp and everything to get ready up and going. We already got the draft done, got free agency done, got schedules released, and for once the Jets aren't going to have that issue with that long drawn out signing process, which is grateful for us, but obviously not good in terms of your content.
I am looking forward to hopefully this team surprising and the content being focused on winning games this year for the first time.
No, I'm feeling like that's the way it always is with these types of teams. I feel like what?
Could you picture that happening?
What this team, everyone thinks they're going to be, a math team, and then they, totally stun and surprise you, like eking out a winning record and maybe getting that 7 seed. I could see something like that happening.
All right, from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm a little more confident than Joe is, but I guess because Joe's obviously been weathered through years of misery and disappointment, so I understand his perspective on everything.
I like seeing this rare side of you, V-Man. We normally just get you always on a laptop, but here you are on the phone, walking around.
I'm actually I'm on a desktop because I said I just had the like I said, the webcam. I don't know what's up with it. I'm gonna have to take a look at it, figure out what's wrong with it.
You better figure it out.
No matter, I'm gonna have to go get a new one before.
I know. It's true.
Technology, never perfect.
How do you feel about the Yanks, V-Man? Were you encouraged by what you saw over the weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from the Mets?
Yeah, I'm encouraged. Obviously, it's going to be, no matter what this season is, it's going to be rough. Obviously, we know the Yankees are going to make the playoffs. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when they clinch. With them. But the question is, in the playoffs, what are you going to do, especially when you're down an ace? So, what are they going to make a move to supplement that to get somebody to complement the rotation? Are they going to make a deadline move to see if they can pick up somebody? It's a question. Are they going to are they even thinking about that? Or are they going to just try to pat themselves and say that we're fine with what we have and try in the playoffs? Because you're not going to, even if you go into the playoffs with what you have now, it's not going to be enough, especially if you get deep in the playoffs.
As opposed to deep in what?
I did nothing.
Okay. What else is new, V-Man?
I'm not doing anything else much. Really, I'm getting ready for the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I actually signed up to march in it.
I think that's on June 8th, right?
Yeah, that's 8th. That's a June 8th, and
now,
I'll be at the
Game 1 of the NBA Finals might be that night too.
Well, like I said, I'd be too exhausted from probably marching down New York City to probably.
So hypothetically, we got a long way to go. Let's say the Knicks are in the NBA Finals, right? They're playing the Timberwolves, so Game 1 would be the same day as the Puerto Rican Day Parade. You wouldn't come to the NBA Finals with me if I got you a ticket?
Well, if you got me a ticket, I'd have to also take off an extra day because I'm taking off.
Oh my God, you'd have to take off to go to the finals.
Well,
the offer's off the table. It wasn't an emphatic yes, so you're no longer my pick.
If you somehow manage to pull it off, then yeah, I'd go to the NBA Finals because it's NBA Finals. It's okay. You're talking about one of the top North American sports championships. One of the big 4 North American sports championships. So of course.
All right. Didn't sound like you were that enthusiastic about it.
But I gotta say this: you'd have to give me a definitely good heads up because my job doesn't like last minute taking days off.
Here's what I need you to do. All right, if you're gonna march on the Puerto Rican Day Parade, can you demonstrate your marching form?
No, I can't because I haven't actually marched before, so this is my
Well, you
first
gotta,
time.
that's right. That's why you got to practice. So like here, like give us a little. Your marching.
I don't know what I'm doing because, like I said, we're making. I'm with my sister's group and we're carrying some props. I don't know what the props are, so I can't march if I don't know if I'm carrying a prop.
Well, pretend like you are carrying a prop. Here, I'm gonna march in the USA parade while you march in the Puerto Rican parade.
All right. Well, like I gotta get back to doing some. I got some paperwork I gotta fill out. So I'll talk to you later.
You can't leave yet. You're the other one on hold.
There you go. All right.
I've been marching by myself the whole time. Where's the help?
Because you can't hear anything at the Puerto Rican Day Parade because they're blasting music. Like, if you ever see clips of the parade, and you can go online and look them up.
I see.
They blast music it's like the music is blaring. All right, that's about it.
All right, V-Man. Enjoy your paperwork, okay?
All right, peace.
That's the end of that V-Man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
Hey, V-Man. He never left. I was like, why am I going to take him off? Let's see how long he'll hang out. All right, more of your calls right now. Jettaholic's on the line. What's up, Jettaholic?
What's up, Jake? That was funny. That was a funny back and forth right there.
Just peek me, man.
I love how you just pulled the American flag out. Like, all right, I'm gonna race in the American whatever he said. I got a question. Where has Chiefs fan been?
He stopped calling after I guess he got his job back at Denny's. He was on hold the other day. I want to say maybe last week we had him on, but he hasn't called anywhere near as frequently as he once did, which might be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if he's working and getting money, yeah, that's good, and that's a lot better than sitting home every day.
It's true.
Man, Joe B's really down on the Jets. I mean, I get it, but geez,
there's no hope.
yeah, he's 110% doom and gloom. But you know, not that I'm super confident in the Jets, because I'm definitely not. But the way I look at it too is the Jets are at their best when they're not on prime time all the time and there's no expectation. So maybe they'll be better than a lot of people think. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. Look, I feel like this fan base will rally if they have like a little hope. Like, it's not like Jet fans. It's not going to take much. Like, win week 1 and we're back. You know, like, I don't think, as down as we are now, if we see something like this team is going to get the support from its fans, because we got to remember too, the head coach is a former Jet. Like, there's such a great storyline there if Aaron Glenn can actually get this right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, like you've been saying, they just need to get off to a good start. Like, even if it's just 2-2, like, they cannot start out 1-3, 0-4, anything like that. They at least got to get a couple wins early and give us a slither of hope. You know,
I do agree with that.
At least give us some meaningful. I just want a meaningful game in November. Can we do that? Let's just get to November with a chance. Like, that's how bad it's been the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be still around in November. Like, just kind of the way the schedule is set up. The key is, though, when you look at the beginning, I think they got to be at the bare minimum 3-5 at the bye. If they're 4-4, there's some hope there, some winnable games after the bye week.
Yeah, if they can survive that first stretch and just be sitting at like 500, I mean, the rest of the schedule lines up. If they can beat some teams that they're very capable of beating, they could easily at least go over the projected win total, which I think is a little low, but
they could.
Yeah.
No,
and
were they? That's the question.
That's true. And like, as far as Aaron Glenn, like, my dad's perfect example. He was hyped when they got Aaron Glenn. I was kind of like you. I was a little like, I liked the hire, but I was a little leery, you know, with it being a defensive head coach and first time head coach again. But that seems to be the new trend with the former players coaching their former teams. So, and it's gone pretty well for a lot of guys. So hopefully we can continue that.
It'd be nice, but I'll tell you what. if they get off to a terrible start with some of the games they have on their schedule, you're going to have a lot of road fans, right? If the Jets suck in September, what do you think MetLife's going to look like on October 5th against the Cowboys, who their fans are everywhere?
That's true. You'll see a lot of paper bags, too, from the Jets fans.
It's going to be bad. They have. That's why I think getting off to a good start's important.
Oh, and I got a couple early draft prospects for you. Would you be more interested in Mike Litteris or Hugh G. Rection?
Jetaholic, I appreciate the time. Farewell.
Would you silence, or should I do one of these?
You won't get me with that one, but I do appreciate the attempt. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. For those of you just tuning in, we did our raffle yesterday. Congrats to our 4 winners, Bo C, Anthony L, Julian, and the big fella. This week, our top prize is a Joe Namath autographed jersey and a Walt Clyde Frazier jersey as we continue to do some Knicks prizes with the Knicks playoff run, captivating the New York audience and providing hope, I will continue to say, for us Jet fans. More of your calls right here, right now. Folks, I know what needs to be done. You might not like it, but I'm going to do it. The beast is being unleashed.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you got to come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
Buenos dias, Jake. ¿Cómo estás, amigo?
I'm doing well, Beast. How are you?
Not too bad. Just doing some reporting here on the eBay department, looking for some rare stuff from Europe as always. Gotta keep up with the European scene. That's my way in life.
Now, what does that mean in the eBay department? You're on eBay.com?
That's right. Yep, that's right. I'm kind of keep up with the European scene. Just taking a good look around, see what they got to offer, and I'll make a nice offer they can't refuse. And I was listening to that joke that Bongino got this morning. Ooh, he threw some mad curveballs today, and boy, I'm talking some whip ones. I'm talking the big 12-6s. Weep. You know what that looks like, right? 12-6. And the guy needs to, hey, dude, tone it down a little. You're out of control. It's already mid-May, and you're already starting this stuff, dude. Take a chill pill. Drink some water. Get some exercise. Get on the bike. Do a little one of these. Run a few laps, and you'll be in good hands. Just relax. We're in mid-May. We should be enjoying this time right now. Like, the Knicks are already ready to go to game 1 as of tomorrow night. We got to worry about that first. No, not just jumping around like some kind of maniac on steroids. Jesus Christ. The guy's got to tone it down a little. At least 3 notches in his belt. At least, 1, 2, 3. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm not going to be negative towards our boys. That's not my forte. And Thursday, I'm going to be out in the suburbs. Got work to do.
What are you doing?
Back to work. Mowing.
Are you gardening?
Back to the sweet smell. Mowing back
lawns.
to work. That's right. Back to work. It's called enough talk. Get back to work. It's called you want to make money? Make some money. Not hard.
Shut up!
Amen.
Thank you. Hey, money is money. And remember these words. Candy is dandy, but liquor is thicker. Do you know where that came from?
I do not.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971.
Hey, Boomtown wants to know, if you entered into a talent competition, what talent would you showcase?
Hey, in the words of the great Vince McMahon, he once said, anything could happen in the world. All you just got to do is put your pedal to the metal and the rubber on the road. That's all I got to tell you. Now, let's get to the next caller. I don't want to feel like I'm invading or...
You get the fuck out.
All right, Beast, thanks for the time. More of your calls right now. Please hit the like button if you haven't. Joe Benigno was on with us for the first 45 minutes, I think it was, of the show. So appreciate Joe hopping in. Did a lot of Knicks talk with Joe. Joe with some strong takes on the Mets and Juan Soto. Buyer's remorse for Benigno already with Soto. He's concerned. From this point on, though, he's no longer Juan Soto. He's Juan Slow-Mo. Alan writes in, who gets a job first, Charles or Bobby? I think it's going to be Gorman. I think it's going to be Charles Gorman. I really believe that. Speaking of Gorman, for those who missed it yesterday, we took Gorman to task for doing something that is just outrageous. He called into the Bobby Midnight Show and didn't just call in as Charles Gorman. He called in as Charles Gorman live from the John, mid-dumpage. And look, we like hot takes on this show, but we don't want steaming hot takes like that. So leave that to the Bobby Show if you're going to call in. Don't pull a Gorman.
Hi, Charles.
Hey, guys.
Are you all dressed up?
He
Like,
can't stand up. He's taking a shit.
are you in the
He's
bathroom?
in the bathroom, bro.
Yes, I'm in the bathroom, Bobby.
Are you
taking a dump?
Are
you taking a dump?
You're not gonna have that crap.
That man was way too concentrated.
He couldn't show the fit because his pants were around his ankles.
I'm not having that shit again. Charles, you're not coming in anymore until you get that.
Indubitably.
Yo, he just fucking.
What happened?
He's in the bathroom calling my show again.
I don't want to see that.
Oh shit, man.
Anyway,
I don't come in to take your shit on your show. Charles, do never ever come on my show again in the crapper, okay?
My bad. Anyway, I just want to stop by and say hi. Sorry about the bathroom incident.
Unbelievable. Shout out to Addison for having an iconic laugh. Rebecca says, "Did I hear a splash?" Oh, you heard a splash. Rich says, "Hit the like." Daz says, "I need more information on this call mid curling out." Daz, your next parody song should be about Charles Gorman taking a poop. The classic Charles Gorman, my bad. I should put that on a t-shirt, boom. My bad. Just a picture of Charles's face. Now, look, Dakota says he did apologize. He did, but how Charles thought that was acceptable. When this is the same guy that got a ton of grief for wiping his derriere on the Bobby Show previously.
Charles, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm just working my ass right now.
Okay, that's fine.
See, even Bobby has learned his lesson. He's not allowing it. PG says Charles is a legend, dropping hot takes and dumps. He definitely is a legend. No one can dispute that. He's the man. All right, we'll end the show with a segment we do from time to time called Ask Me Anything.
It's time for Ask Jake Anything. Ask about New York sports. Can't afford a therapist? Maybe Jake can help. We can even discuss if the moon landing was real. Seriously, ask Jake anything.
Anything. What do you want to know? If you have a question, you write it in, and I will respond to it. Daz says, I believe AI songs have something to say about that. Oh, God. Can you imagine? I'm excited. Dakota says, show later. There'll be a show in the 4 p.m. hour, as usual. We still do 2 a day. Twice a day. Monday through Friday. New Q. Charles, you killed a stripper. I bet. Rich. I don't come take a bleep on your show. Yeah, Bobby. Just the fact that this is a real quote. It's unbelievable.
Shut up!
Unbelievable. Alan says, would I fly to OKC for a finals game if it's cheaper than MSG? Well, it definitely would be cheaper than MSG. Yeah, I'd have to strongly consider it, Alan. I thought about going to Indiana because I have a relationship with one of the hotels there from my combine that I've done the last 2 years. But I'm going to wait. Curly says, Jake, you have to pick one letter of the alphabet to represent the food you could eat for the rest of your life. What letter are you picking? Great question. You know, my first reaction, Curly, was like C for chicken, because then you could have all types of chicken, right? Chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, chicken parm, chicken franchise. I just feel like you have a lot of versatility with that. Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Is there any other obvious letter? Two people wrote P. You guys. Family show.
Calm your freaky down.
I mean, man, trying to think what else. See, you also get Chipotle too, by the way. Good job, Will. Dad says steak, sausage, salami. Strong. What other foods start with P, by the way? I'm just thinking. Pizza, popcorn, potatoes. Dylan says head out of the gutter. I know what you were doing, Dylan. I respect it. Pasta. You know what? P might actually be the come think of it. P might actually be the answer here. I think I you know what? When you're wrong, you're wrong. I own it. Hand up. P might be the answer. I've been convinced. Pizza, popcorn, potatoes. I mean, that's strong. Then you throw in pasta. I mean, there's a lot. Curly says this is a tough one. We spent hours debating this at work. This is peak Jets offseason. Niall, the Jets fan, is next on the show. Hello, Niall.
Hey, what's going on, Jay?
Hey, Niall, how are you?
I'm good, chilling. I was going with my story Lynn before my daughter's YouTube. And now I'm back.
Where you been, man?
Man, it's been brutal. It's been brutal. Like after Aaron Rodgers, all that situation, I just been depressed, man, with the Jets. Like I can't even. And then we don't draft Shador Sanders, and we had a chance to get him. It's just gut punch after gut punch with this team. It's just so brutal. I can't even. I don't even know if I'm going to a game this season, honestly.
Yeah, look, I mean, I hope that they get out to a good start, so someone like you will want to go to a game. You know, I keep talking about that being, I think, something that's important for this regime.
Because, like, they got Justin Fields. I mean, I'm not fully sold on him. Like, I don't know. He's just super mid for me, but we'll see. We should have kept Aaron Rodgers. We should have kept, what's the guy's name?
Devontae?
The receiver with the dreadlocks.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae. Like, you just let him walk out the door. Like, that's all good. I hope Aaron Glenn knows what he's doing, man, because he's really pissing me off how he's doing things so far, you know. But you never know. Like he said earlier, his only way to go is up, you know. So I'm hoping for the best. We should have a better season than last year is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, look, it's hard to be worse, and the expectations are way lower. So if they suck, it's not going to hurt as much as it did this past year. But they got to show us, man, because it's a brand new regime. We don't know anything about them. We don't know if they're good or bad. Hopefully, you know, they deserve the benefit of the doubt. But once again, I understand why anyone is negative about where they're at right now. I totally understand. I get it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, well, listen.
It's a bummer.
I'm hoping for the best, you know. I'm a Jets fan for life, so if anything, we'll hopefully win like maybe 8 games this year. That would be great, you know. But as far as the Knicks go, I'm a Nets fan, but I'm happy for your Knicks that they're doing their thing. Hopefully, they make it to the championship.
Man, it'd be awesome. This is probably their best chance of getting to a finals. I mean, since the last time they were there, so. They got to get it done. I think tomorrow night is huge. You know, the stat that Joe brought up, and it's been out there, the Knicks in their history have never won a playoff series, and they've lost the first game at home. So tomorrow night is a huge one for the Knicks. And we might have lost Story Lynn there. Niall the Jet fan, aka. Curly says, imagine being excited for 8 wins, another losing season. Yeah, I get it, Curly. 8 wins is not really going to excite me either. I think the only thing that will excite me is, a winning season and making the playoffs. At least a winning season. Team Curry, if the Knicks win a title, I'm definitely getting a Knicks tattoo. How about you? I have no tattoos. I'm not a tattoo guy, Team Curry, but if the Knicks win a championship, you got to call in after you get that Knicks tattoo because that'd be awesome. But I've never been a tattoo guy, so I'm the wrong guy to ask. Ralphie says, another Jet fan who needs therapy. Larry David was right. The Jets are killing us. They are. They really are. But look, once again, it could change quickly with a good start. I think that's important. People are going to laugh and say, no, it's get better as the year goes on. I think getting off to a good start's important. I think that really helped Rex Ryan. Started 3-0. Even when they went through that losing streak, right? They had the ups and downs with Sanchez as a rookie. Still feel pretty good. Snowball writes in, Jake, if you got to have lunch with a dead president, who would it be and why? Excellent question. It'd be between George Washington, because he was the first, and I'd love to talk to him about the Revolutionary War and all the things that he went through. Abe Lincoln. JFK, I think, would be fascinating, right? Are you aware on what they did to you, man? The conspiracies? Might have to bring Gary with me to that lunch, huh? I think FDR would be pretty cool, too. Teddy Roosevelt would be pretty cool. There's a lot. If I only could pick one, though, we're going George Washington. George Washington or Lincoln. New Q, Taft would get great food. We'd be eating well with Taft, there's no doubt. Team Curry says, if you're live while I'm getting it, I'm calling in. I will go out of my way to make sure we're live. You're going to get a Knicks tattoo if they win a title. Jay says, if the Jets win, you got to get a tattoo. I'm not a tattoo guy. I don't like needles. I have no issue with tattoos. I've never been a tattoo person. Mike, I see your question. I've seen that out there before. I will not. I'm not going down that path. Let's see. Any other ones at the buzzer here? Sco says he needs therapy for the Mets. Come on, man. You guys, they're still in first place. It's a long season. Dan's asked me about Soto. So we hit on this earlier, Dan. I think just watching him, there's a clear difference in body language. Am I going to sit here and say that Juan Soto is not going to figure it out? No, he's a great player, but clearly he doesn't seem happy. That to me is real. The reports on that match up what we have seen this year. Where's the Soto shuffle? Where's the swag and the confidence he'd have? He seems different. He doesn't feel like he's comfortable. He didn't have to go through anything like this last year because he just hit the ground running. And also, it was never his team last year. Judge gets all the attention. Soto, you don't get to fly under the radar when you're Juan Soto playing for the Yankees, but it's different. So he's going to be fine, though. He better be. I mean, he's 2 months into a 15-year deal. He's too good of a player. But, he clearly doesn't look like himself yet. But, he wouldn't be the first guy to come to New York and have some issues. I just think it's so surprising because this is a guy that last year, with all eyes on him from the standpoint of him being a soon-to-be free agent that was going to get a record amount of money, it never felt like it bothered him. He excelled right away. I was at opening day in Houston last year. It was great that day. Threw out a guy at the plate to win the game for the Yanks. He was incredible. We haven't had that yet. But, Lindor had a terrible first year with the Mets. Beltran wasn't great right away. Like, it happens. Stanton, year one with the Yankees, underperformed to what a lot of people thought stat-wise he was going to do. I wouldn't freak out just yet. It's too long of a season. It's only May 20th. But the not hustling stuff is inexcusable. Like that can't happen. If you're going to pimp a ball, it better be gone. Not off the wall for a single when you're struggling. Like, that's a bad look. I know he's still second, but that's a bad look. It's not what you want. But it's early. On that note, thank you all who watched. Thank you to Joe B who came on the show. Rewind to the start if you're tuning in late. We're back this afternoon, so I'm certainly looking forward to getting more into the Jets. We have OTAs open to the media tomorrow, so Aaron Glenn will speak, which is always good. So, that's what's all coming up. Again, you guys are the best. JETS, 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 Jets. Let's go Knicks, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. All right. Farewell. Charles, take us home.
My mother wants to know who I'm talking to. I'm on StreamYard, Mom. I'm on YouTube.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
Charles, you're the best, dude. I can't. Mom, the meatloaf.
The meatloaf!
Mom, meatloaf.